Hello guys and welcome to this video. On this lesson we will learn about lists. It's an important structure used in Python when you want to store multiple values. It's important to understand how to create a list, how to insert elements in a list, the different ways to get values from a list, and the different methods to remove elements on this data structure. On this video, we will explore how to sort a list using the natural or reverse order. You will see how it's easy to sort a list of numbers or a list of strings using Python. I hope you enjoyed this video and let's start. A list is a collection of items in a particular order. Let's create our first example. In our first example, I will create a list of friends' names. Because it's a list, and a list contains more than one element, it's a good idea to make the name of your variable in a plural way. For example, friends. When you will declare a list, you use brackets, and inside the brackets, you put the values that you want to store on this list. For example, John, Bob, Alice. I have created a list named friends and stored three values, three strings. Other example, ages, a list of numbers. What's happening if we will try to print? I have a mistake, I need to save as a Python file. Let's run. And using the print method, you print your list as usual you do when you print any variable in Python. If you want to access one specific value in the list, you need to use indexes. Let's remove that. If you want to access, for example, the first element in the list, you need to use the index 0. In Python, the index starts by 0. The first value is 0. Let's try to print. You see, the first element, John, is located on position on index 0. In this case, the last one will be the index 2. Execute. John and Alice. You can use negative values on the indexes. If you use negative values, means that the index will represent, based on the last element, the position of item that you want to print. On this case, -2 means -1 Alice, -2 Bob. Let's try. So you have two options to access one element on a list, using a positive number or a negative number. The positive number, it's a reference from the beginning of the list, the position 0, and the negative number, it's a reference based on the last position, on this case -1. So if you want to print John, I can use index 0 or the index -3. Let's try this example. I will create one message string and I will mix some literal values and the element inside the list. For example, on this example, I am using the f string to concatenate values. On this case, the friend's position 0 and the text is my first friend. If I print the message, I will see John is my first friend. If I modify the index, Bob is my first friend. And finally, the last one, Alice is my first friend. Using the indexes, you can modify the values in a list. For example, if I wanted to modify the second element, I can take the position 1 and put the new value. Let's execute, and you will see I have modified the value on my list. To add the values in a list, you can use the method append. Let's do an example. I will create an empty list, friends. It's empty, and I will add value by value using the append. For example, friends.append. In this example, on the line 1, I'm creating an empty list. Line 3, adding a first value, John. Line 5, second value, Alice. Line 7, the third value, Bob. And printing. Let's execute. So line by line, I'm appending or inserting a new element in the end of the list. Other way to add an element or insert an element in a list is using an index. For example, I will create one list of 2 elements. And I can insert in the list using the method insert. And I will put one index where I will insert the new element. For example, if I put 0, Bob will be inserted on the position 0. If I change to 1, Bob will be inserted in the middle of the list. John, Bob, and Alice. And the opposite to insert is removing the element. In this case, we will use the method delete, abbreviated by del. For example, I have the list John, Alice, and Bob. And if I want to remove one element, I will use del and the position on the list. In this case, I will remove the element indexed by 1. And I will have John and Bob as result. The second way to remove an item from a list is using the pop method. Instead of using del, I will use the name of the list and the method pop. Different of delete, you can take the element that you are removing from the list. For example, if you see on the line 3, I am calling the pop method, but when I call the pop, it's possible to take the element that I am removing from the list and put it in a variable, in this case, removed element. Let's print. Executing the code, the pop method removes the last element. Printing the list again, Bob was removed from the list. But other option is using an index. So I can use an index in the pop method. If I put 0, I will remove the first element in the list. In this case, John. The third way to remove an element from a list is using the remove method. In case of remove, you will remove an item by value. For example, the list name dot remove and the value that I want to remove on the list. Line 3, I am removing the element Bob. Be careful. If you have more than one element with the same value, the remove method will remove only the first occurrence of that element. If I insert two Alices on my list and try to remove Alice, only the first case will be removed. The first one I have John, Alice, Bob, Alice, and the second one, after I remove Alice, I will have John, Bob, and one Alice. We have other interesting methods to be applied on lists. One that it's so useful is the method sort. Using the method sort on a list, it makes relatively easy to sort a list. And the list is sorted. If you want to sort in the reverse mode, you need to add reverse equals to when you call the method. And your list is in the reverse mode. Let's try one numeric list. In a reverse mode, and if it's not reverse, I have the natural order in a numeric list. Pay attention, when you are using the sort method, you are modifying your list order. Let's sort this list: John, Bob, Alice, and Paul. Executing. My friends list on line 4 is different of the beginning of line 1. The elements was modified the position. If you don't want to modify the position or the order of your list, you can use the sorted method. But this method is only to print your list in a sorted way. Let's modify this code. In the line 3, I am printing one text sorted list, and I will print the list friends using the sorted method. Look, I have printed the list sorted, but I did not modify the elements positions in the original list. Similar to sort, you can use the reverse parameter to modify the order of your list. You print in the reverse mode. One third method is the reverse method. Look at the line 3. And different of the sort, this method only inverts the positions in the list. Let's try this example. So, calling the reverse method, your first element, John, will be the last one, Bob, one before the last, and so on. Paul, the last element, will be the first one. It's different of calling the sort and applying the reverse equals to. To finish our class today, if you wanted to know how many elements I have in a list, we have a method named length, and you can use it to take the amount of elements, the quantity of elements. It's a simple method, lem and your list. Executing, you will have the size of your list, the length of your list.